Hi, Austin. We're going to go over day one of proof. So we're going to do number 1 through 4 in the packet. All right. So you can start with the first day, the ones we do together, and the ones you have to do on your own are called skeleton proofs. So we're just going to be filling in what's missing. Every time we do a proof, we want to start with the given. We want to see what they're telling us. And that's the first statement we have right here. So our reason is going to be given. After we write that down, we want to put in all the information that we know into our triangles. So it says angle ABD. This angle right here is congruent to angle BDC, this angle right here. And then we know angle ADB, this angle, is congruent to angle CBD. So that's all of our given information. Now, you remember we have 5 shortcuts to solving this. We have side, 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 angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle, side, angle, and HL. We have to get to one of these. So we have to have at least 3 pieces of information to make this happen. So if we look at this, we know this always used so much over and over and over again is reflexive property. And B and D, this segment here, is touching each other, right on top of each other, so they're congruent. So for our next statement, we're going to put BD is congruent to BD, and our reason is going to be reflexive property. Right? Now we have 3 pieces of information, so we know we can do our proof. What we want to prove is that triangle ADB is congruent to triangle CBD, and we can do that by angle, side, angle. So we're just going to put that right here, angle, side, angle. Throughout these 4 examples, Austin, make sure that you push pause if you need to, okay, sir? All right, moving on to example number 2. First thing again they did, they put in our given. Sorry. So we're going to write given down here. Now we're going to fill in our given. Angle Y is congruent to angle W. And then UW is congruent to XY. So we have 2 pieces of information. If we look here, we also have vertical angle. So we're going to put angle XY to the angle X. ZY is congruent to angle UZW. And then our reason, we're not just going to write vertical angles anymore, we're going to write definition of vertical angles. All right, and we get abbreviated definition DEF. And last thing, now we have to prove our triangles are congruent right here. Is what we want to prove, and we can do that this time by angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. All right, moving on to example number 3. Here we go. So first they tell us that AC bisects BD. Now, remember, bisect means to cut in half. All right, so both sides are going to be equal. All we know right now is that this bisects that, so we're just going to write that down. We write down our word given. Now the next statement and reason says definition of segment. That's important because we're bisecting a segment. Bisector. So when we cut something in half, when we cut DB in half, this one right here, this is going to be congruent to this. So our statement is going to be DO is congruent to BO. Those segments are not congruent. Now this one they skip a little space and then they give their other given. So we're just going to write down our other given. Angle B is congruent to angle D. So over here, D and B are congruent. We always want to make sure that we fill in our triangles. Last one, they started out for us this we should see. We see this a lot. We're going to use the reflexive property. So if we're saying right here, congruent to the, excuse me, vertical angles, I'm sorry. They say DOA is congruent to angle BOC, and our reason is going to be definition of vertical angles. Now that we should have enough information, we have to write down our proof. Our last one's always going to be what we have to prove. So triangle DAO is congruent to triangle BCO. And our reason this time is going to be side angle side. All right, off to our last example for day 1 of proofs. First thing they say is segment DB bisects angle ABC. So once again we have bisect, so we're going to cut in half. And that's given to us. Now when we're talking about bisect, this cuts an angle in half. This angle. So if we know it cuts that in half, we know that this part of the angle is going to be congruent to that part of the angle. So our next statement is going to be angle ABD is congruent to angle CBD. Now this time we're going to put definition of, now we're not putting a segment, we're putting an angle, so we're going to put angle bisector. Moving on, it says it's given to us, so we're going to write given. Angle A is congruent to angle C. Put that in there. Then one of my personal favorites, we can see it right away. BD is congruent to BD because of the reflexive property. Now we should have enough information to prove that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD. This time we're going to go with angle, side. All right. That's the first day of proof, so now I would like you to try 5 through 8. All right, have a fantastic day, sir.